Our top story tonight, child safety advocates say the internet has created new challenges for protecting young people from predators.
Now, a federal law is giving investigators more tools to track online exploitation and help identify child victims. WSAV's Sarah Smith joining us now to explain how the law is making a difference and what experts are saying that parents really need to know.
Well, Bentina, 95% of children ages 13 to 17 have an online presence. 40% of ages 8 to 12 also use social media. This law, dubbed the Report Act, was introduced in part by Georgia U.S. Senator Jon Ossoff. He says it has helped protect those children in the past 2 years since it's been active.
What we really want, of course, is for there to be less victims.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children worked with Senator Jon Ossoff and his colleagues to introduce the Report Act, requiring all websites and social media platforms to report crimes against children. Chief Legal Officer Yuta Soros tells me this is a necessity as threats online continue to evolve. Before the Report Act, Soros says these platforms had to report crimes like child pornography and distribution, but this did not include child sex trafficking or online enticement, two crimes that are on the rise.
If we look at that time period to 2025, when all the companies have that legal obligation, over 1,000% increase in those reports. So tremendous numbers, over 105,000 reports relating to child sex trafficking just last year.
While Soros doesn't want there to be more cases of children being victimized, she feels these numbers now better reflect the reality for many kids. This gives experts, parents, and law enforcement vital information they otherwise wouldn't have.
Who is the child? Where is the child? Who might be actually trafficking them? What state are they in? Especially for these types of victims online, they move a lot across the country, and be able to get those leads out to law enforcement.
And with that data, they can track trends and find ways to possibly prevent these crimes.
We have an entire kind of outreach and training, educational for children, for parents, for schools, for law enforcement, any kind of child serving professional. What can we be teaching them about the ways that offenders are trying to approach children online, so that everyone can be better about spotting that, avoiding that. Children can be aware of how that happens.
The law also requires evidence to be preserved for a longer period, giving police more time to investigate and prosecute crimes. It also increases fines to companies who knowingly fail to report material on their site. Sarah Smith, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Sarah, thank you. It was a busy night for Chatham County Police, with officers making arrests in 3 separate incidents involving a road rage confrontation, an alleged armed robbery, and a drug investigation. First, police say a road rage incident at the intersection of Quaco Road and Ogeechee Road led to the arrest of 38-year-old Sean Peppo. 3 victims told officers the suspect pulled a gun on them during the confrontation. Peppo was arrested and charged with aggravated assault. No injuries were reported. In a separate case, detectives responded to the 300 block of Bridgewater Drive after a man reported being robbed at gunpoint. Police arrested 21-year-old Keyshawn Leggett, seen here, the son of Savannah Alderman Dietrich Leggett, and 21-year-old Chakyle Robinson. Both men are charged with armed robbery, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm or knife during the commission of a crime. And a trespassing complaint at the shops of Savannah on Gateway Boulevard resulted in a drug arrest for fentanyl. 36-year-old Isaac Williams was arrested and charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. All 4 suspects were booked into the Chatham County Detention Center.
Now we're taking you to Burke County, where a tragic accident last month claimed 3 lives. Authorities say a tree fell across Highway 56, killing 2 Swainsboro High School graduates and the father of one of them. WSAV's Nikaya Harris spoke with a family member about how they're coping in the days since.
And I just dropped to my knees because that's all I got left.
Just 2 days before that call, James Walker and his son, 18-year-old Conchero, were celebrating a major milestone, high school graduation. A moment filled with pride and what the family believed was the start of a new chapter.
Everybody was excited because my mom's death was very hard on the family. You know, losing your mom when you're very young, you would think that he would have went a different route, but He did everything he said he was going to do.
For Jadaisha Williams, that call changed everything. James and Conchero killed after a tree fell on the car they were in.
I did not expect to hear any bad news because my brother just graduated high school Thursday. I went to go see him Friday, and then he died the next day.
She says her stepfather and little brother were the kind of people who brought light to those around them.
Very, very, very sweet people. My stepfather took in a lot of kids. He was like a father figure to a lot of kids. My little brother kind of hid him from the world because I didn't want the world to hurt him.
Now, Williams tells me the hardest part is navigating life without them while holding on to the memories they built as a family.
When I came Friday, I would have stayed longer, and that I loved them with all my heart.
Nakaya Harris, WSAV News 3 on your side.
A closer look now. You may notice gas prices soaring over the next few days. That is because Governor Kemp's gas tax suspension in Georgia has expired. So people and businesses that rely on fuel daily could feel a pinch at the pump. The suspension saved drivers 33 cents on regular gas, 37 cents per gallon on diesel. Zach Gilstrap is the president of College Hunks Hauling Junk and Moving Coastal Georgia. He says they've spent an additional $20,000 on diesel fuel since prices began to climb. He says they run 10 trucks locally and they're having to fill up most of them every day. Now they're planning ahead for another price jump.
As a business owner, it puts us in the mindset of we need to think 6 months, 1 year down the line of whether a mixed fleet or different jump-off points or a different scheduling is gonna have to be, you know, a larger part of our business.
Officials with AAA tell WSAV the drivers can expect gas prices to soar to an average of $4.20 in Georgia in the next few weeks.
Relief on property taxes could come sooner than expected for Bullitt County residents. That's after new state legislation changes the timeline for how a local sales tax is used to offset future millage rate increases. A new Georgia law signed by Governor Brian Kemp is speeding up when Bullitt County can use revenue from its 1-cent sales tax to help offset property tax increases. Last November, voters approved the tax with the expectation that relief would not begin until July of next year. But under a new Senate Bill 33, counties can now access 5 months of revenue collected between January 1st and May 31st, allowing property tax relief to begin as early as this year.
The full year is about $3.4 million in FLOSS funds. So 5 months will be about $1.4 million. And so with that $1.4 million, we're going to be able to reduce the amount of millage rate increase that we would need to cover that additional cost.
The money will also be shared with cities including Statesboro, which expects the change could help reduce its need for a higher millage rate. The city is set to finalize its budget on June 16th.
Now, Time Saver Traffic, sponsored by Arrowhead Clinic, the accident doctors, where it pays to get well.
All right, we have the report of 2 accidents causing now some major issues on the roadways heading out of Savannah. Just past Little Neck Road on westbound Interstate 16, there was an accident slowing traffic down, now taking an hour and a half to get from Savannah to Statesboro, taking 20 minutes to get to Pooler. We're also experiencing some significant delays along US 17 on the Talmadge Bridge. So if you're going to be going up to Hilton Head, taking I-95 would be your best bet from Savannah. That traffic is very slow in both directions as you are on the South Carolina side from the Talmadge Bridge. Weather-wise, nothing to slow us down for the next few days. Rain chances are going to be minimal with a clear sky, but they do start to return as we go into next weekend. The heat and humidity will certainly make a return as well. Of all the forecast details coming up.